All right, and welcome back to episode 018 of the OK Podcast, powered by the Strength Co. I'm your host, Grant Broggi, here in studio from the upstate of South Carolina with PJ, where the price of Bitcoin is $60,212. But remember, since episode 001, we're still up about 20,000, so do not fret whatsoever. Things are still on the up. If you're freaking out, then you shouldn't be freaking out. Bitcoinomics, like Bidenomics, except with Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's the same thing, except it's not. It went below 60 for a hot second there.
Oh, no.
Dipped below 60, so I guess it's over. Sell it all.
What's the block height?
Gotta wait for this little thing to tell us.
Yeah, we can wait for the block clock. Shout out Zach Copley.
That was a great gift.
This
has really added a lot of ambiance.
I think so.
All right, block height. We don't need to wait for the robots. 841,575 today.
There you go. Today, April 30th, the end of the month in the year of our Lord 2024. We've been coming at you 18 weeks. And the show is going on so much that I'm going to say I'm not watching the Bruins game, but I watched the first two periods, and I have a feeling my cell phone will probably come out late in the third. But we're recording anyway, but it's playoff season, and you really have no other chances. Do you want to miss a Celtics game? Do you want to miss a Bruins game? We got to record anyway, just like you got to lift when you don't want to.
How long is a novice linear progression? How many weeks is that? Because we're 18 weeks into the podcast.
Oh.
When do we finish our NLP for the podcast?
Yeah, so 4 weeks in a month. About now. I usually say, so Ripto would say 6 to 12 months.
Okay.
But I would make the argument that once you're an advanced novice, you're not really a novice anymore. There's a lot, like you're not running the bread and butter program of
3 sets of 5.
Yeah. And like there has been changes if you've done it. And just having coached a bunch of normal, everyday average people, most people don't want to put on a bunch of weight, so they're not putting on a bunch of weight.
Yep.
And so that limits, how long that thing goes anyway. So could someone run it, upwards of a year? Yes. But most people, I think about 3 months, you're starting to change a lot of programming variables. And week 18.
We're almost done with our NLP.
Yeah, we're advanced novices at podcasting, so if the quality's still bad,
that's embarrassing.
That's your fault. You know what you're doing.
Speaking of that, I switched up. Fiance is going up 1 pound increments. I got my little plates, my little micro plates.
Oh, you got half pounders?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I realized that you need more than a half pound, because you put the half pound on, let's say you're at 60 pound bench press, go to 61. How do you get to 62?
Yeah.
You need 1 pound.
Yeah.
So you need like all the increments to get from 60 to 65.
Or just 0.75 pounders.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
If only someone made something
if
like that. If
only there was more than 5 people in the world that believed in going up by a pound at a time. I might make them. Yeah, but they just don't. And most people aren't consistent enough to even need to do that.
Right. Well, so that was an example of today. So we lifted earlier. She went from 60 pounds on her bench press, 3 sets of 5, and then went to 61. And just looking at it, not a coach, but I've done this for a little while. I was like, that was the right increment to go up.
Yeah, there you go.
Like it was a grind.
Yeah.
It was a grind.
Good thing you got Strength Co plates in there.
Because
otherwise the pound wouldn't make a difference.
Right. Well, they're not Strength Co, so who knows if they're a pound or not.
Well, I just mean, but there are variable that's not changing. Whereas
that's
you're in a
true.
commercial gym and you have, a bunch of cheap plates.
Deep
and you don't know.
Did my 5x5 today.
Did you get 325?
325, 5x5. That was a slog, dude.
Nice.
That was a slog.
How long between sets?
Oh, like 6-7 minutes. Okay. I was taking my time. I had luxurious rest periods, but
you have to sometimes.
It was a slog, but
you got it.
Yeah, I got it.
That's tied to PR.
That's tied to PR.
All right.
Yeah. So 326 next time.
Yeah. That's what you got those pounders.
But it's good.
But so if you want to do that much work, you'd be mad if you only went up a pound.
That's true.
You'd be like that wasn't worth it.
That's true.
For 7 minutes of rest, I should have made a 5 pound PR.
You got to learn how to get through that. Like there's training, and then there's just the grind of, hey, you got to mentally get through this and get yourself under the bar.
5x5, so mental. But we've talked about that.
My lifting partner back in the day, his name is Troy, if you're listening. And we would lift before school during high school together. And I remember I don't think, I mean, I probably got some novice gains from it, but like we trained so wrong, right? Like we would go into the gym and it's back day. We're like, all right, before we start back day, we'll just do 50 pull-ups just to grind ourselves into the ground. And then we'd probably do 30 sets of like to failure back exercises.
Oh yeah.
And we would do that every like 5 days a week.
Sounds great.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure we completely did too much volume. We probably were not recovered. Probably weren't eating
like,
enough.
What, 16?
Oh yeah. I was like, this was 14 to 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. But you know what that taught me though? The training was questionable, but it taught us to grind.
There you go.
Because we would basically compete like on how much pain we could take.
Someone could take
before they quit, And I think that was good. I think that was important.
Yeah. Learning to grind is the hardest part, especially for self-taught lifters thinking that something's hard.
Yeah.
And it's not as hard as it seems. Let's get Jeff in here. Jeff in the house. We got started a couple minutes ago talking a little training, but Trey's out again. He'll be back next week, and he'll have some big news for the listeners and fans. So Big Trey, you're missed, but we can't break tradition. So episode 018 of the
Okay
podcast, powered by Strength Co. Yeah, we're getting better at that. We're getting it down. Jeff, where are you at?
Your camera looks good, man.
Did you get a
Colorado
facelift?
Springs. What?
Wow.
Did you get a facelift? You look 10
I got a
years younger.
facelift. No, I got
Nice.
my ears lowered.
Ah,
Yeah, man. Your setup looks good.
My ears lowered. It's the mobile podcast studio. It's expeditionary proof of concept out here. War fighting, doctrine, nailing down TTPs, SOPs, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
Are you training or are you out there for fun?
Training. Well, I mean, kind
are
of fun.
you,
I
are
don't
you
know.
doing a
It's-
planning conference?
Yeah, it's the final planning conference.
The
for-
FPC. I'll be in the
Yes.
IPC next week for mine.
Getting ready for that
KFC.
MPC. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. KFC. Okay. Got it. So you're out there.
Yep.
You're on orders. Can't do anything stupid. You're a real Marine right now.
Real Marine.
Real Marine.
Yep.
Hoorah.
Yep. Hoorah. Semper Fi.
Well,
Those-
we kind
those-
of go ahead.
Go for it. Oh, yeah. The syndrome driving through Colorado, like, all the green, like crosses and those. Yep. The Colorado variant of pharmacies. All right.
for
For Marines to be like, I thought it was legal.
Yeah, I thought it was legal. I went in and told him I had a headache. Yeah, I forgot about those pharmacy things.
Is it completely legal there?
Yeah.
You just-
I'd say
They were the first one, right?
it's worse than California there.
I think so.
Just in terms of because the weed culture in California, I mean, obviously there's a lot of people smoking weed, but it's like predominantly like surfer, what you think from the movies, like 1970, what's up, bruh? And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's plenty of gangs running and doing weed, and probably pot smokers will laugh at me for my weed take in California. But Colorado, like everyone's just high.
Everyone's
like you
high.
land and the whole state is
24/7.
high. Yeah. Rocky Mountain High.
Oh,
Colorado.
bingo.
So it's like going to a CVS to just pick up some weed.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So we've heard.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't visit those establishments.
Don't
For the
partake.
record.
Don't partake. Yeah.
We kind of got a lot to cover.
Love it.
And I don't know which way you want to go. We got about 15 minutes before our guest comes on. Playoff hockey's underway.
Let's jump in with that.
Yeah, intermission between the second
Bruins
and
doing?
third period. They're tied 1-1 against the Maple Leafs. They had a terrible first period, only 2 shots on goal. But yeah, exciting game, playoff hockey. Everyone's fighting, and but they're playing terrible. I don't know how it's 1-1. It should be like 5-1 Maple Leafs, but hopefully Marchand turns it around in the third and they pull it out. Carolina is up 3-1. I think I saw. But yeah, it's that first round. It's like a whole different game when it switches to playoffs. Like it's just so much more. Do you watch much of it, Jeff?
A little bit. Yeah. Kaylee's into it. So we'll get home and if she's home, we'll put the game's already on, or like when she gets home, I'm like, what hockey game's on? So
Yeah. So that's fun. This is actually kind of an underrated sports time of year because there's no football.
Oh yeah.
Like you have college baseball going, entering, the regional soon. You have NBA playoffs. That's been pretty fun so far. And what's amazing about like NBA playoffs and hockey playoffs is if someone gets hurt, it's like detrimental to the whole thing. Like, now you got a football team. Okay, if your quarterback gets hurt, obviously that's really bad. And if you have a good safety get hurt, it's really, but there's so many more factors where it's like your 5 guys and your center, sprains his calf. It's like, oh man, like, do we even have a shot anymore? But anyway, playoff sports.
Very true. Playoff sports. This is a good time of year for sports.
I mean, you said no football, but I saw this game on the other day. That was like was it called the UFL or something? No, what is it?
Yeah, something like that.
There's like a spring football they're trying to make happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
You were making a football joke.
No, not a football. A football.
Yeah, like American football.
Just year
oblong
round.
brown thing that they throw through the air.
The piglet, spinning piglets.
That's right.
No, I hadn't seen that. I did see though today. I was somewhere. I was working on my laptop, and all of a sudden, I had my noise canceling headphones on, and all of a sudden, I just heard people like erupt, and I was like, I bet they're soccer fans. And I turned around, and they were like screaming at a TV that had soccer on. What was today? Today
is semifinals for the Champions League, which is like the big tournament where like. So each country in Europe like has their own like soccer league. And then depending on how big your league is and how well it does, so like the English Premier League gets its top 4 teams are then entered into the next season's Champions League. So at the end of the season, top 4 teams go into the Champions League. Same for like La Liga. So the Spanish league, the Italian league, I think it's 4 teams. Germany's league gets 4 teams. And so they all like, the biggest names in European football are all in a tournament, and now they're down to the semifinals. So it's like, it's a big deal. A lot of money.
So it's a tournament. It's not like a regular season.
It's like it's a tournament that happens like within every season. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. It's kind of funky. And like, so like the best teams, it's kind of crazy how many games like they end up playing if they're like, so like last season, Manchester City won the Premier League. What else did they win? They won the Champions League and another like big tournament. So like they literally played every possible game that they could basically. And it's just insane how many games those guys play.
Yeah, I can't. We need a flow chart. So it's like the All-Star game, but with teams.
And it matters.
And it matters.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you rather win the Premier League or the Championship League?
That's a good question. We were talking about this the other day with Kaylee and a couple of people that at work that watch soccer also. I think the league. I think like the Premier League because
slang for they're both leagues. They're both leagues, but Premier League's the league.
The league.
Yeah. Because like you have to put together like a whole season. It's just like a longer grind, I think, for the Premier League. Yeah, okay. I think. Yeah. And like some teams, not so much in the Premier League, but like some of the other tournaments, like, all right, early stages, like you'll rest some of your players. So you'll kind of play like your B or even like your C team in like the early rounds just to kind of like get through them. But I don't know. Champions League is pretty cool to win.
Okay. And then today was the semifinals.
Yeah.
Who
so
won?
I think. I actually don't. I did not see the score, so I'm going to look it up.
In the air, getting your freaking.
I was in the
Amex.
Miles. I was in the Amex lounge doing fit reps.
Ooh. That's the best. Nothing like a good fit rep.
It was good. Let's see, champion. Okay, so it was a draw, 2-2.
Just to make it more simple, we'll just throw draws into the mix.
So they play They play 2 legs. So they'll play a home and away.
I mean, I would imagine to play soccer, you need 2 legs.
You need 2 legs. It really helps.
You gotta have 2 legs.
But so it was Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. So like 2 of the biggest teams historically in European soccer. So Germany and a Spanish team.
So what's 2 legs mean?
So like they'll play one game in Munich. So Bayern Munich will play at home. And then next week they'll play in Madrid. So like
Okay,
each team gets a home game.
Leg means game.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then it used to be that like away goals were worth more. So then they take the aggregate of the goals scored for your team, and that's how you go forward. So
dude, that's
this
too
is
complicated.
Just
just make it a score. Score is a score.
It's like Europeans. A pound is 2.2
No, dude.
because it's 1 kg. It's like, why?
No,
Doesn't
man.
make any sense.
I don't like that there's draws. I don't like that.
That's fun.
But there's
makes it
not,
dramatic.
because there's away goals that are worth more. But yeah, I know what you mean.
You know how they could solve that? Just by making winners and losers.
But they play 2 legs. So if the second game's 2-2, who wins?
Then they'll go into I think they'll go
Overtime?
right into penalty shootout, or like they'll do like extra time or overtime, and then eventually it'll go into a penalty shootout if no one scores.
They're overcomplicating this. Is this like some big massive play to make more ad dollars or something?
Oh, it probably definitely is. There's so much money in the Champions League. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Can't have one game with a winner and a loser.
No.
Can't do that. No.
No way.
What do we
No
play
way.
here? FIFA?
Here is MLS, so Major League Soccer,
Oh, okay.
and then our like regional. So like the U.S. team plays in what's called the CONCACAF, and I can't remember what that means.
He's making
what that
words.
stands for.
CONCACAF.
Yeah. So that's
we have a soccer team here.
Do we?
Yeah, Greenville.
Is it the
Okay.
Swamp Rabbit soccer players?
No, it's
same teams. They just march them out.
yeah.
Let's see.
No, hang on.
Greenville SC Soccer. Triumph?
Yeah, Greenville Triumph.
Ooh.
What league is this? 3-time USL league.
USL.
Oh,
I wonder if
finalist,
that's
USL.
If you have to think about it, it's not that big.
I think that's maybe a minor league of MLS.
I think it's
like
some type of minor league, but it's kind of a big deal. People get
cool.
get into it.
You went
Yeah.
to a baseball game recently, right?
Yeah, I went to the Greenville Drive game, which is the high A team for the Red Sox, but they have a moniker called the Rana del Rios, so River Frogs, which I didn't know. And so I don't know, they were honoring the upstate historic Latino, not Latinx, just Latin presence. And yeah, so they came out in pink jerseys and they had River Frogs, and it was kind of interesting. And they were playing
that's cool.
Spanish music all night. And our neighbors gave us tickets. And so I was texting the neighbors. I'm like, did you just give us this because Diana's Mexican and you guys didn't want to go on Hispanic night? And they said no, but it was pretty funny because they have the little hype man running around with his microphone. And he's like, all right, now we got, Freddie and Willie out here, and they're going to spin around for 10 seconds on this baseball bat and then run and grab this base. You ready? Uno, dos. And he's like, cinco. Oh, what's seis? And I'm like, he really doesn't know how to count
Is this
to
real?
10 in Spanish. I feel like this
Dude
is
did
real.
no prep.
Yeah.
He did no prep.
A minor league game's nice though, because we went at the start and we stayed till the 7th inning stretch, and it was a tie game, and we were both like, all right, time to go home, go to bed now. And you don't worry about it at all.
Yeah.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Baseball games are the best just hangout sporting event to me. You just go, you're eating a hot dog, you're chilling. It's no pressure. If you get up in the middle of something, everybody's walking around. I feel like it's the most chill game to go to. If you're at a basketball game or a football game and it's your team, you're invested. You're not breaking focus the entire time, but it's just a big hangout session at a baseball game. I got to get down there.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't been?
Not this year.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that ballpark kind of modeled after Fenway?
Yeah, they have a replica of the Green Monster to scale. I mean, it's smaller, but yeah, so it's
cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they're a high Red Sox team. So there's been Tristan Cassis, it's the first baseman for the Red Sox. And when I first came here 3 years ago, he was playing first base for
nice.
high A. But that's the problem with high A. It's if you get someone good, they go to double A
They
and
leave.
they go triple A. And so it's just constantly change. So it's they won, the Greenville Drive won the playoffs. And it's the Greensboro Grasshoppers must have had that home run hitter they had get called up, or, it doesn't, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And everyone looks like they're in high school, all the players, which is fun.
Yeah, they probably just were.
Yeah, they probably just were. Yeah, they look something like that.
Ugh.
We got anything else on the sports topics?
Sports topics. Got any takeaways from the NFL draft? What do you think about the Patriots? What, they snagged two quarterbacks?
Well, the Tennessee guy, who is it? Milton? And who is the other one?
Drake May, UNC.
Oh, yeah. Wait, Patriots didn't take Drake May, did they?
They didn't? I thought they did.
No, Drake May went first.
No, that was Caleb Williams.
Drake May, Jalen Polk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Patriots did take Drake May. Yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I got thrown off because Michael Buckley, Ventura Meat Company, was messaging me about the Tennessee guy. Yeah, Drake May. I mean, I think it's. I mean, we got nobody right now, so I think it's fine. I think the draft is really. I've in the past I liked it, but only because Bill Belichick would like make weird picks.
Yeah,
and so it was just interesting to be like, oh look, he picked this, whatever, because there's a left-footed spiral. Or left-sided spiral when he punts it, or whatever. And so I would follow it for those reasons mainly, but I've never really like watched it. I think I watched it when Clowney got drafted. But I was watching that Detroit, there was like 250,000 people that went into the city.
There were so many people.
And I'm like, who would travel to a draft outside of like your son is, going to go in the first round. Of course, like you're going to go to that. But as a fan of a team, I don't really understand that. I'd rather just spend money and go to a game.
And it seems like less and less players like go, are actually at the draft when they get drafted.
Remote.
I don't know. And I guess it's in Green Bay next year, which I'm like, that's interesting. Like very small town. I mean, I think the city itself will probably like rally around it and be hyped on it. But I'm like, I wonder what that's like going to be for the out of towners traveling in.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw Drake May because my mom's a big Chapel Hill fan. So, the Patriots got him. I was like, that was interesting. Spencer Rattler went in the 5th round to New Orleans, and it was the first quarterback to be drafted in 25 years. So I paid a lot of attention to that. Yeah. But no, I didn't watch it closely to have really any super intelligent takes on what happened.
My only take on it, I thought it was interesting because, these like GMs and all the front office people, and there's people crunching numbers and watching hours and hours of film. And then I felt like a lot of people's draft strategies just got like blown up. Like when like quarterbacks just started coming off the board and people were like, do we need a quarterback? Like we're getting a quarterback. We don't care. We need a running back. We need a linebacker. We need an offensive lineman. We already have 10 quarterbacks, but we're getting a quarterback. And I'm like,
Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's right.
Yeah. That's what the draft is. How's his training going?
Dude, that guy is terrifying. I watch every single one of his Instagram
the Paul
vids.
Guy?
Jake Paul.
Yeah.
I think it's July 20th. And dude's looking sharp. It's funny. Some people just have talent. Like they're just born to be something. And even at 57, 58 years old, I watch Jake Paul training and I watch Mike Tyson training. And I see Jake Paul and I go, he looks like he's learned and practiced boxing for a few years. Like he's been training. He looks like a good boxer. And then you look at Mike Tyson and you go, there's just something in that guy that was meant to punch someone. Like he moves like no one else.
Just like the sound of him hitting the pads. You're like, oh.
Who's better, Jake Paul or Logan Paul?
At what?
Boxing.
Jake Paul.
YouTube.
Does Logan do that too?
He did it a little bit. Yes. Yeah. He did an exhibition with Floyd Mayweather, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I remember.
Okay.
Yeah. Got whooped, but that's not too.
Which one did you meet?
Jake. I met Jake.
I met Logan at the Arnold.
There you go.
And he was filming himself.
Classic.
YouTube content Logan.
He's jacked.
Yeah. He is jacked.
They're big boys.
Yeah,
I'm pumped for this fight, though. I mean, I'm real pumped with it. The only thing I'm worried about with Tyson is that his conditioning, because he's going to be 58, and I just don't think he's going to be able to take hits like he would be able to when he was younger. I think
that's true.
His speed and his knockout power and his skill still up there. But I'm like, if this goes deep, I'm kind of worried about the man.
Well, I'm sure if you're interested in watching it, Jeff, then you'll have like some type of marine requirement that'll prevent you from watching it.
Probably.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch it, just don't think about it. Don't look at the date. And
No.
It'll be on
that's-
Netflix.
all right.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, that's how that goes.
Yeah.
It's getting
Yeah.
streamed on Netflix.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be
What a
big.
world.
Didn't Tyson have another exhibition? What did he do one here recently?
Yeah. With
Like,
who was that guy? Tyson and Tyson recent
Listen,
fight. What was his name?
Is it Holyfield? I
Roy
don't
Jones
remember.
Jr.
Oh, okay.
Roy Jones Jr.
Is that Bones Jones?
Is it?
No, different guy. But Bones
okay.
Jones is like UFC.
Oh, that's right. Because
Roy
Bones
Jones
Jones,
Jr.
he trains with Big Stan Efferding.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, he's got a big deadlift. Like I think he pulls like 600 or something.
Mm.
Did he?
I watched a lot of that fight though with Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Because I was like, okay, this will be like a peek into how I think maybe he'll do with Jake Paul. Maybe this is like a window into what's possible. And he definitely looked older, but dude still got it.
And he won?
He did. Maybe it might have been like a tie or something like that. But
okay.
I think
I thought you hate ties.
I hate ties. It's not my rule. I hate ties, but yeah. If you guys if we start talking about like boxing and UFC on the podcast, then I'll participate in the sports conversations.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Dana White, Donald Trump, Kid Rock. I'm in. These are all the topics I
Let's
love.
do it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Let's get Big Andy in here.
Com check.
Andy.
Looks like he's also in a hotel room.
You bet your. Am I allowed to curse on this thing?
You just be you, Andy. You just
Then-
be you.
Yeah.
Then you bet your ass I am.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you bet your sweet Bippy.
Oh no, I got my Cannon Cockers sticker here. If you notice, it's not put on that well because I let because some of my Marines do it, and so they didn't know how to put a sticker on a water bottle.
Yeah, water. And with that, we'll introduce you to the folks because we do a great job of getting guests on, talking to them, and then never saying how we know them or how. So
We're professionals.
yeah, Captain Andrew Herbert, USMC. You got out in what, like 2020?
June of 2021.
June of 2021. We'll dig into his Marine Corps career, what he did after, because he did some kind of like contractor government scam right after he left active duty or something like that. But Jersey boy and through and through Penn State grad, big Penn State fan. And one of the great things about the Marine Corps is it just brings together different personalities, and you have to work together whether you want to or not. I'm not saying we didn't want to, but it's just funny. You got like Biggie, Southern Georgia guy, me, South Carolina, but likes Boston sports. And then you just got Jersey, baby, Jersey.
There's someone missing here.
Yeah. So Big Trey couldn't make it today. We'll announce next week why, but some cool stuff happening there. But as my mother would say, it's not my news to share. Mom, why didn't you tell me that Jameson did so-and-so? Well, he told me, but he didn't tell me if he had told you, and it's not my news, it's his news. So it's Trey's news, but we'll let him share it next week. But he was sad that he was missing you today.
Oh man, I can't tell you how sad I am to miss him.
Yeah.
I have a good Trey story I was going to share. I might share it anyway.
Yeah, go for it.
You definitely should.
Let's lead off with
Definitely
that.
should.
Even better.
So Trey and I didn't necessarily. I don't think Trey and I saw eye to eye on a lot of things.
Just because he's taller than you, or
Yeah, no, because of his height.
Classic.
And I was trying to like put a good foot forward. You guys were living in the Dana Point house at the time.
what a house.
Up the hill to the right. I think the street was named Fish or something.
Summer wind.
Yeah, let's say whatever.
Same.
Anyway, I walk in and you guys had a great vinyl collection. Grant, I know you're a big vinyl guy.
Huge.
You guys had a great vinyl collection. Trey had some of his vinyls there. And one of the bands that I'm a fan of, that Trey's also a fan of, is Future Islands. And I go over, I was just getting into Future Islands at the time. I go over, I see right on top of the new Future Islands vinyl, and I grab it. I'm looking at it. I'm like, yo, whose Future Islands vinyl is this? Is this yours, Grant? And I hear Trey from like around the corner. You would have thought I killed his dog. Yell at the top of his lungs, put that fucking thing down. Don't touch my shit. And I was like, oh, all right. Like, I like Future Islands, but he's like, put it down. Don't touch my shit.
So did you put it down?
Yeah, I put it down. I like looked at him. He came like walking out. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Anyway, good to see you too. Where's Devin?
He'll listen to this Friday morning, and then next week when we record, he'll let us know if that's true or not. And I'm sure we'll talk about it in the following week. No, just a little bit. So, so you came to Tango. You know, I left Tango in 16. Jeff, you left in what, 15?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, typical Marine Corps stuff. It's like you just lose track with people. I mean, we got that group thread. You text once in a while, but kind of like, what did you do then your next 5 years? So you did 8 total, right?
Yeah, I did 8 total years active duty. That's right.
So what did you do? So you finished up in 511, like XO position, I assume, or?
No. So rather than do the XO job, I wanted to get some sort of out of Camp Pendleton experience. So I went over to Sierra on the second UDP to Okinawa as as their liaison officer. So Roy Lim was the XO. I went over as the liaison officer and did liaison work with MEF, with the Air Force Special Forces, with the Koreans and the Japanese for integrating HIMARS in that. You know, it was the second time we've brought HIMARS into that theater. And it was actually really cool. I got to do a lot of high level briefing and bringing them up to speed. And then if you guys are familiar with that high rain mission, you can blame me for it.
Did you guys do the first one?
Well, so the Army had been doing something, and I helped incorporate it into the high rain terminology was something the Air Force had on a couple slides, and we just grabbed it and ran with it.
I know what it is. Jeff knows what it is, but for the listeners, for PJ, just like explain the 30-second sound clip of the
high rain. Yeah, high rain is short for HIMARS rapid infiltration, and you put a HIMARS launcher on the back of a C-130 or C-17. You bring it into a expeditionary airstrip. You roll the launcher off the back. You fire the rockets or missiles. You roll it back on, and you get out of there. Concept being really quick.
The old shoot and scoot.
The old shoot, move, communicate. But that really took off because, I mean, even now in the SMCR, when SMCR is doing a lot more things these days than it used to. But yeah, I mean, our last AT, Jeff and I down there at Fort Hood. I mean, Fort Cavazos. That was it. No, it wasn't Delta Battery. I forget which one it was.
Fox.
What are you laughing at? We got to be politically correct over here.
What is that? Did they change the name of that one?
Yeah, they changed it to Cavazos, and
I thought you were just speaking Spanish because you married.
Talking about the gate guards.
A Mexican lady.
Yeah. I don't know why they named it or Cavazos or who it is, but when I would just say Fort Hood out of just because people are like, no, Cavazos. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I was like, well, now I have to say Fort Hood every time just to freak people out.
Yeah.
All right. So you come back from you. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
I was saying those poor gate guards that had been working at Fort Hood for decades, like the civilian ones, and said, they had their whole spiel ingrained in their brain. We would come into the gate and they'd be like, welcome to the great place, Fort Hood. Fort Cavazos. I am so sorry, gentlemen. I am so sorry about that. Come on through. I am so sorry. You're like, whoa, dude, it's all right, man.
What is it up with the Army and prepping their gate guards to have little sayings? What would they say?
In the Marine Corps, you just get living the dream, sir.
Yeah, every time.
Are you? This was your dream.
This was your dream to check IDs.
The Pulgus Gate.
At the Pulgus
You're fapped
Gate.
Out. You hate this.
You're fapped out. Your unit actually hates you.
Yeah,
that's why you're here.
You weren't performing, or you did something wrong.
Right. So you come back from UDP, you're a war hero. You've
thank you.
Redone the Marine Corps' long range artillery strike program, and you get orders to.
I got orders to Marine Corps Recruiting Command headquarters in beautiful Quantico, Virginia. And I got assigned as the aide de camp to Major General Paul Kennedy.
Nice. In relation to Robert?
Loose family relations because they're all from Boston and they're all Kennedys. So you could throw, if you find a Kennedy in Boston, there's a good chance.
What was it like working for a general?
He was awesome. So it's very much general or admiral dependent. He was really cool. I mean, they're all pretty demanding, but you just do I mean, I tell people all the time, if you can't do that job, you don't deserve to be a Marine officer. It's like that simple.
Right.
And when people get fired, I'm like, it's probably because you just dropped the ball on something that is real. Like you messed up his schedule. You put him in the wrong uniform. You didn't have his hotel. Like,
right.
It's
that's the kind of stuff you're doing is like booking his DTS for him, telling him who he's meeting with, briefing him on, hey, sir, you're about to meet with, I don't know. Like,
that's that's like table stakes. Okay. And then the better you get at it, you can, be kind of like the protector of the office. Like, that person, he's in there eating a sandwich and someone shows up and you're like, no, that person's not going in there. You know what I mean? Like, no, he doesn't want to talk to you. Oh, he's busy right now. He's doing X, Y, and Z. And then he had direct line to the commandant. His reporting senior was the commandant. So dealing probably the most pressure situations was just dealing anything with the commandant because it's so immediate most of the time.
And that's a 1 year. That's a 1 year job, right? For you?
Yeah, that was a 1 year. So I did that for a year. He was awesome. We stay in touch still. He got out of the Marine Corps.
As a 2-star, or did he go up?
As a 2-star, he could have stayed, but he's like, nah, I'm done. But he got out and I think he's doing like consulting or something. Started his own consulting firm.
Classic.
Shocker.
Yeah, shocker.
He had a cool background. His experience was cool, so it was cool to work with him. Infantry
what was
officer.
his MOS? Infantry.
Yeah. He was Mattis's futures plans officer in the invasion in 2003. Ramadi battalion commander 2004. Had regimental command in Afghanistan in 2010 or 09 to 2010. So Marja, Sagan, Kajaki, those were him. And then his first star command was 3rd MEB out in Japan when the Nepal earthquake hit and then the typhoon in the Philippines. So he did both of those responses. So vast experience across different parts of the Marine Corps. Really cool. And then he had recruiting. He was a recruiting station commander and he got tasked to be the commanding general of recruiting command.
So you went from 511 right to their 1 year gig, and then you have this weird, like
really weird
2 years of availability before I can get out. Where do they put me?
So I stayed in the command and I went to the marketing and communications section.
Ah, you're looking for a job?
Hey, how you know? Hey. It was so that's the part of the Marine Corps that direct liaisons with our advertising agency. So all the commercials you see on TV, billboards, the YouTube small clips that you get in between, that all works for the ad agency. And the direct liaison to that is the marketing communications section inside MCRIC. I went over to be an action officer / national partnerships officer. So I was the direct liaison for all of our national partnerships with USA Wrestling, USA Rugby, the Women's Volleyball Coaches Association, those types of organizations where we're targeting their members because we think those kids will become successful, good Marines. And we want to raise awareness and expose them to the career opportunities in the Marine Corps. So I would plan events, do community engagements, travel around the country, things of that nature to try and raise that awareness for their members.
All right.
So I did that for 2 years.
And then you're done.
Oh, and then
there's more, baby.
Just a second.
So then on February 27th, 2020, I resigned my commission. And if you do the math on that, about 2 weeks later, the DOD issued that stop loss, stop move. And I was faced with
Were you on terminal leave?
I was not, no. So my EAS was June of 2020. And what I did was
you were like, I hear there's a shot coming and I want to wait for it.
Oh yeah. That's another story we won't get into on this podcast. Grant, we'll talk about that June 6th.
We'll talk about it offline.
Over a couple of slices in the great state. And yeah, so I resigned. 2 weeks later, COVID happens. I had a pretty good gig lined up, or I was in the interview process with a pretty good gig for a job, and then that stopped. And long story short, I extended my EAS to September, got out, went immediately on ADOS orders for a year, and I was the legislative affairs liaison for the command. So I worked in small plans and research section, and I answered questions from Congress.
Did you mean to get out and go in the reserves and then get put on ADOS, or did you go out and like an opportunity came to hop on ADOS for a year?
I had a good relationship with the chief of staff, and they had this open up by classic Marine Corps movement. There was an open position. Right. They needed someone to fill.
Hey, listen, you guys know who Paul D. Kennedy is? Yeah. Call him. Ask him about Herbert. I can do this job.
Basically. No, the chief was really cool. Artillery officer. So we take care of our own. So I did that for a year. So I was answering congressional inquiries. I was preparing statements for testimony for the generals and sergeants major and stuff like that.
All right.
As pertains to recruiting, of course.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Well, that's I like hearing about Marine Corps careers. Maybe like 5 of our listeners like hearing about Marine Corps careers, but we should probably talk about other things. I've been to Jersey twice. I mean, not in my life, but like in the last 6 weeks. I'm going to New York next week. PJ is engaged to a woman from Jersey.
This is Hickey's guy.
This is not Hickey's. What do you mean Hickey's guy?
No, we don't know who
I don't know who Hickey's guy is. Oh, boom, boom, boom.
Who's engaged to? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know who Hickey's guy is.
This is exciting.
I watched the podcast with Hickey.
And
Hickey was like, whoa, who's this guy?
Oh,
yeah. That's me. Yeah.
That's PJ.
I got interrogated.
Yeah, that's PJ.
I was terrified the entire time, but it's fine.
So he's
you got to see him over a camera. You didn't see him in real life. You'd be a lot scared.
Yeah, he's 6'7".
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even be there.
He's a giant,
3/4,
a literal giant.
And if you ask him how tall he is, he immediately thinks you have an IQ very low. You're really tall. How tall are you? And he's like, oh, you're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I feel like PJ will let you get your AirPods back in. PJ being engaged to someone from South Jersey, which I think is really just Philadelphia.
It is.
Do you have, I mean, he might have some questions for you, like what he needs to be warned and scared about. And you might have some questions for him. You know, I feel like there's some good, cause you're Jersey City.
I live in Jersey City.
But you're from
Point Pleasant.
Like that's the shore side, right?
That's the shore town.
Like the actual Jersey side.
That's like about 20
Just
minutes.
break down the geography.
Break down the state. Okay. If you look at the geography of Jersey, there's like that little cut in on the coast.
Yeah, that's Italy.
It's like Italy. And if you put a straight line in that, like right about that area, you get, you showing him that?
Yeah, I'm seeing
it. Good. He's a visual learner.
We'll flash it up on the screen.
Yeah, this is geography lessons.
Making work for Jordy. I love it.
Then we'll plot the Dunkin' Donuts potential sponsors because they're like every 4 feet. But
that's right.
Yeah.
So that is kind of like the middle
Jersey.
Line.
Okay, you're kind of right in the middle.
Some people say there is no Central Jersey. I disagree.
Ooh, that's the first take we've had of that side of the take.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I do feel like I'm from Central Jersey. I'm the overlap gray area between North and South Jersey, right? So I believe that would be a Central Jersey if we're using English. And so the North Jersey side, that's your New York transplants, if you will. That's your, and then the South Jersey is your Philly transplants. And even the South Jersey shore, which is like the Ocean City, Atlantic City, Wildwood, Stone Harbor. I call that Philly by the sea because as soon as you get down there and you're below the Atlantic City Expressway, you see more Pennsylvania license plates than you do Jersey license plates.
Okay.
So that's...
Go ahead. Continue.
No, I was going to say that area where, Fort Dix is, you're like the northern part of South Jersey, or like you're nearing the Central Jersey area.
So what's weird about that place is, so I land in Philly. I'm in Philadelphia. I drive for 30 minutes. I feel like I'm all in Philadelphia. I stop and eat. It's technically Jersey, but everything's Pennsylvania. Like I'm in Philadelphia. And then all of a sudden I'm like, am I in Georgia? Because it's nothing but like MAGA signs and Confederate flags and trucks up on blocks and farm stuff. And I'm like, did I take a wrong turn on the Jersey
Jeff should move there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what my front yard looks like in Salt Lake right now. Yeah.
Is it just
to feel at home?
Is it just an interesting way that I'm going, or is there like a very country?
New Jersey is the Garden State.
Yep.
Let's not forget. It has a pretty vast area of the state that is, farmland. Can we get a fact check on this? I think they have more horse farms or more horses per square mile than any other state or something like that. Like we have a lot of horse farms and horses.
Nice.
Fun fact.
Can you ride one?
No, absolutely not.
I found a fact on Google, which has to be true. New Jersey has the most horses per capita, with nearly 10 horses per 1,000 people.
There you go.
Per capita means amount of something per people.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
a visual learner.
Well, that's a lot of horses. I can't ride a horse.
That's a lot of horses.
I save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Amen.
That's right.
Well, I have some important Jersey questions, but Biggie,
does PJ have any?
Let's go to those guys first. You got any Jersey questions?
Well, so my fiance is from, I don't know exactly the town, but
I think that's a red flag.
Probably a red flag.
You should fix that.
Well, it's because I've never been there. Her parents like moved to what they would say Central Jersey. So I've been there.
Oh, so you don't know the hometown. Okay.
I don't know the hometown, but she was around like the Vineland area, if that sounds familiar. Like dead center Central Jersey, like right down there. And so, I was just wondering what now I'm curious, since you said that there is a Central Jersey, because most of the people that I've talked to from Jersey adamantly tell me, at least the people I've talked to adamantly tell me, that there's a North Jersey and South Jersey. So what are people from Central Jersey like? How are they different from the North and the South?
So Vineland is South Jersey. That is not even close to Central Jersey. Yeah.
It's Philadelphia.
It's Philadelphia.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, in Grant's world, it's Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And that might be easier for you to understand.
Even my fiance would say it's Philadelphia too. She like, go Birds.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst.
I know. She's a huge Eagles fan.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Vineland, definitely South Jersey. So what you should know about them, the easiest way is it's just Philadelphia. They like the Eagles, the Phillies, the Flyers. So they're terrible sports fans. Mm-hmm. They live too far from the stadium to make a meaningful trip over there. So they go once a year and they make it their whole personality. It's awful.
Yeah.
Central Jersey.
That tracks so far.
So did she, you
it's
said
a
her
big
parents
sports town.
Philly?
Yeah.
I don't know. That might be a bridge too far for me.
Okay, I just want to see how far I can push this.
Her parents moved to like the Cherry Hill, Haddonfield area right across.
Very much still South Jersey, but closer.
Close. Okay, so that's not Central, as you would say.
No. So Central Jersey for me.
We're narrowing this down. I like it.
It looks kind of central.
So Central Jersey for me, if you use Monmouth and Ocean County as kind of your East Coast lateral limits, and you square that across, and I'm hoping there's like a map. You can Google so many of these maps that show Central Jersey.
I'm deep in Google right now.
Yeah.
This won't even be work for him this week. He's just studying his family.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I see it. Yeah.
That's like the Central Jersey area.
Okay, so it's over like on the east side, kind of a little bit.
Well, yeah. If you were to bridge that across, that would be your cross section, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. So what are people from Central Jersey like? How are they different from the North and South Jersey?
Oh man, they're kind of like a combination of both.
Okay.
Like I'm a shore kid. I'm a beach kid. I grew up in a beach town, right? So that's kind of like my personality a little bit, but I'm also Italian on my mother's side, Irish and German. Like Jersey people are all mutts for the most part of those 3 or 4 different, cultural, ethnic backgrounds. We fight over if it's pork roll or Taylor ham just as much as North Jersey does. I think it's pork roll, but I'm a purist.
Ooh. Okay. Good.
Grant, have you had pork roll yet?
No, my questions are all about food, but I wanted to go around the horn here.
Yeah, people wise, dude, the thing about Jersey, it's a lot like, Central Jersey, in my opinion, is more like North Jersey than it is South Jersey.
Okay.
That might help.
Okay. So she would just call it North Jersey, but I appreciate your take. My last question, bonus round. Have you heard of a panzerotti?
A panzerotti?
It's a food.
No, describe this food for me.
Is it like a Maserati made out of?
It sounds like
made out of pepperoni.
It's like a fried calzone looking thing.
Panzerotti?
Yeah. I don't know. So that was something that she told me, like, hey, there's like food here sometimes like people don't know about. And she's like, you've never heard of a panzerotti? So I was like, no, is that a motorcycle?
I frequent probably the most Italian American town in New Jersey because my uncle Giuseppe lives there. And I can tell you, I've never seen a panzerotti.
This must be a Philly thing.
Yeah,
it might be Philly. The Philly like Italians. The Philly
Italians.
Like
a German mutt.
Sounds
Philly
like
thing.
Yeah. All right,
Jeff.
My question: you talked. So what is pork roll? Like, it's Taylor ham is one name for it. So is it just ham that they just call different names? I need a thorough breakdown of what this meat is.
I hope there are New Jersey listeners here because what I'm about to tell you is the Webster's dictionary definition, if you will. Like,
okay,
this should be law.
Straight out of the pub.
Yes. So pork roll is like the tissue or like the Post-it note wouldn't be right, like the tape instead of saying like Scotch tape, right? Like pork roll is the thing. The actual definition of this food is pork roll. Taylor pork roll is like the first one to go big, go mainstream. It's from Trenton, New Jersey. So Taylor pork roll is like the cream of the crop of your pork roll.
Okay.
And so people in North Jersey wrongfully call it Taylor ham because it is like a ham. It's like a salted ham, right?
Okay.
But it's a sandwich.
It's a breakfast meat for your sandwich.
Okay.
So
sounds
so
great.
Instead of bacon, instead of sausage, instead of ham, egg, and cheese, it's a pork roll, egg, and cheese. And so the people from North Jersey call it Taylor ham. It'd be like saying, give me a Kleenex.
It's a Kleenex tissue thing.
Got it.
But nowhere on the Taylor pork roll package does it say the word ham.
Whoa.
So for street cred though, if you're in North Jersey and you walk into a spot that serves these things and you say, hey, yo, give me a Taylor ham.
Give me Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. They're going to, yep. What do you want that on? What do you want that on, boss? What do you want that on, boss?
A hoagie. I don't know.
No, hard roll or
a bagel.
A bagel.
Let me get it on everything, please.
So what if I walked in and said I wanted a pork roll?
They'll know what it is, but depending where you are, they might be like,
forget
this
about
fucking schmuck.
They'll give you shit. They'll be like, yeah, you mean Taylor ham, buddy?
Okay.
What do you call it?
I call it pork roll because I'm a
So when you go into that place that you just described to me and you're ordering yours, what do you say?
Pork
like you
roll,
open the door, ding, 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 ding.
Pork,
you see
pork roll, egg, and
Giuseppe,
cheese on a hard roll, salt, pepper, ketchup.
and they don't say anything.
Well, if they do, I'll just tell them that they're wrong, and I'll say, unless that's Taylor pork roll, you're slicing in the back. Just give me my pork roll, egg, and cheese on a hard roll.
Can I add something here? This is live TV here. I sent my fiance a quick text, said, have you heard of pork rolls? And she said, oh yeah, thank you for calling it a pork roll. All the a-holes in North Jersey think that's what it's called. No, I said, or should I call it Taylor ham? She said, all the a-holes in North Jersey think that's what it's called.
That's right. Did she say a-holes or did she write it out?
She wrote it out. I'm just
Yeah,
I'm just
Okay, I was
being
testing how Jersey she was. She
Oh,
she wrote it out. Yeah. There's a lot of words. A lot of words.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. So pizza, Northeast, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts. I think undisputed, the best pizza in America is in one of those 3 states.
Yeah.
Like no one likes the Detroit stuff. No one likes Chicago. I mean, obviously some people do, but like that's the best pizza.
I love Detroit pizza.
Oh, okay. We'll get back to that.
Well, only Detroit pizza that's from Salt Lake City.
I like Detroit pizza. I don't mind it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, my rule with Connecticut too. My rule with pizza is all pizza is good pizza for the most part. Like all pizza is edible, but some pizza is way better. You just gave me the geography of New Jersey, and based off what you told me and me being there a little bit, if I land in Philadelphia, I can go anywhere in the state within 3 hours. Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. With maybe within 2.5, right?
Yeah.
So someone's coming into Philadelphia and they're like, hey, I'll drive up to 2.5 hours anywhere in the state to go get a slice or a pie, whatever you think is the right choice there. I'm generally of the camp that you buy a full pie, eat it where it never goes into the box if you want the full experience. But I come in and I say, hey, I'm landing. I don't have to work until tomorrow. My flight gets in at noon. I want the best pizza in Jersey. Or if I need to cross state lines, I'll do it. Where do you send me?
Can I get a follow-up question?
From me or for you?
From me to you. If you're
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking for like a New York style or more of like your Neapolitan style or what?
So I like New York style, but my rule is if I'm somewhere and there's a native, I will listen to the native. So like, yes, my preference is New York style. And then margarita is like probably my second favorite. So, but if you told me like, you got to have this Neapolitan, it's the best pizza in the state, I would go eat the Neapolitan instead.
Okay. So there's this place in Jersey City called Raza.
Raza, R-O-S-A.
R-A-Z-Z-A.
Raza.
It's like a 5-minute walk down the street from my apartment. And many consider it one of, if not the best pizza in the area, but it is a Neapolitan style brick oven. Okay. It's Bobby Flay's favorite spot. It's not even he says it's his favorite spot in New York City. It's not even in New York City.
Yeah, it shows you what he knows. He probably calls it a Taylor ham. Idiot.
That was good.
That was a good laugh we got out of here. That was a belly laugh. That was good. Got you down, D.
I love my pork roll. That, and I can't take your mustache seriously.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's a good stash. No, Raza is one of them. There's a place in my hometown, very good, called Rosie's in Point Pleasant Beach. That it would be closer to your New York style slice. Those two, I'd probably be like, hey, one of these two are good. Now, you could throw a rock in New Jersey and find a place that you're gonna be more than happy with.
That's what I've been.
Although I'm sorry you didn't have a great experience at whatever the.
I mean that was again, it was fine. It was just undercooked and a little doughy. And I was so I'm kind of expecting, I'm in the state of New Jersey, everything's going to be a 7 or above, right? Like everything's going to be like on the higher end of the scale. And the first time when I'm there, I'm like, don't waste my time with Philly cheesesteaks. Get me out of Philly into pizza country. Like that's what I want to waste these calories on. And yeah, that's what I did. But every other time I've had it, it's been great. There was another one. It was technically in Pennsylvania because I was over by Bristol area. I forget exactly where. And they had the sauce on top. Oh. Yeah, I'll send you the link. I can't remember the name. Surprisingly really, really good. Because my thing is I like New York style, but I like more sauce. Like I want to taste the sauce. I think that's the feature of pizza. So I think because it's on top, there was just more, but it was still thin and crisp. So I liked it. All right. So follow-up question before we leave the food. So I'm coming in, I'm in Jersey and I'm like, hey, I want to eat the most Jersey thing I can eat. Do you send me to get pizza or do you send me to get a pork roll?
Yeah. I mean,
or do you send me to get
the most distinct Jersey thing you can eat that is very distinct and like only found in New Jersey. Now you can get it in some other states because Jersey people have left the state because they take 50% of your paycheck. But
that's a conversation for June 6th.
Oh, don't get me started, brother.
Well, actually, yeah, well, we'll segue into
we can talk about that. Yeah,
we can talk. We'll talk about taxes in a little bit, but
that's right.
Shout
That was
BW tax.
That was my setup. So I would say the most quintessential thing you can eat is a pork, leg, and cheese sandwich. I prefer it on a hard roll. Or bagels.
A hard roll, like a round piece of bread. That's like you could knock on it, and it's really hard.
No, it's like a Kaiser roll. It's a round roll.
Well, I don't know how many episodes you've listened to. There's been a lot, 18 of them.
I get to like one every couple of weeks.
That's good. At the beginning, I was carnivore, and
that's right.
Trey determined hard cheese is cheese that you throw at someone and it hurts when it hits.
Yeah, and not the same.
So not the same as a hard roll. Okay, on a hard roll. So that's quintessential Jersey.
Yeah, that and any Italian food.
Okay. I'm going to set Jeff up here before we talk about the government taking all your taxes. So Jeff has a master sergeant right now that's born and raised in Jersey. And he told us a story about a gentleman and that was a baseball coach. And I'm just going to like kind of prompt Jeff with that. And I'm just curious if like every Jersey person knows about this or if this is a Sean Shepard original.
Yeah, we're talking about a former Yankees manager who died tragically. Was it Christmas Day? Going for a drive? Christmas Day. Going for a drive.
Christmas Eve, post midnight. Yeah. So
it makes more sense if it's by night. Yeah. Billy Martin, as he would say.
Right.
And so we always have this like here. He has this joke where he's like, I think like if we're out like getting some drinks or something like that, and we'll jokingly say because we Ubered there, and we're going to Uber back because we have a plan. We're going to arrive alive, all that good stuff. And he'd be like, I think Billy Martin said it best when he said, "I could drive." That was his last words. And there's this joke that he tells.
Yeah.
And he would tell it with some of his buddies from Jersey, like for years. And then he's like, oh yeah, when I tell the guys, some of these Marine buddies in Texas, like the Billy Martin joke, they just love it and laugh. They're like, hey, yeah, what is that joke about? Like he's like, you guys have been laughing at that joke for years and you don't know what it's about. So we're checking to see what your level of knowledge on Billy Martin and his tragic demise.
I mean, I'm a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
I'm like a diehard Yankee fan.
So
I know. I mean, Billy Martin was fired like 3 or 4 times by George Steinbrenner. Like,
yep.
There's
famous.
Classic, famous, like him throwing his hat down, him in press conferences. Billy Martin's a legend. And he died on Christmas Eve. Poor guy. A hell of a way to die, though, I guess. I don't know if I would make a joke. How old is this guy? 40?
Yeah. 40?
Yeah.
50?
Yeah. He's like early 40s. 40.
He's still in the Corps.
I don't know what you guys do over there in the reserves.
Yeah. He might be 42. I bet he's 43. Something
like that. Like 41.
Yeah.
At the youngest.
I love how everyone was just laughing at it without, like, they were lying to him this whole time.
Yeah. No, it was hilarious. Yeah.
Like,
and that was the best part of it. Cause he was just like, hey, yeah, so I was listening to the podcast the other day. You guys mentioned Billy Martin, and I was telling my friends, like, oh, I got this podcast called Okay. And I was telling them all about the podcast, and like, these guys just love I can drive, and they just love it. And the guys were just like, yeah, what does that joke mean? He's like, you don't know who Billy Martin is? And anyway.
I've never heard the joke.
It's not a very good joke, but
not a very good joke.
Yeah, you could say too soon, but it works out. So shout out Sean Shepard, Master Sergeant Marines, potential sponsor.
Big Jersey guy.
Yeah, big Jersey guy. Have we thoroughly covered New Jersey? I feel like anything we missed?
Bruce Springsteen? No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just know that you guys call it the shore.
I call it the beach, but I'm from there.
Whoa.
Are you a Shuby?
No. I'm a local.
Oh, okay.
What's your thoughts on the Jersey Turnpike?
I was on it today. I'm on it most days. I drive right past the beautiful Newark Airport every day on the Jersey Turnpike.
Is it underrated, overrated?
It's It's rated.
Turnpike. So
Properly rated.
if someone makes a wrong turn on the Turnpike, are they just a moron? Or are there places?
Did you personally make a wrong turn on the?
Yeah, well, I didn't make a wrong turn. It was like one of those things where Google Maps is like, and there's like 4 turns. But yes, I went the wrong direction, and it was a 12-minute consequence or 12-mile consequence on top of the money. I didn't care about the money, but it was like, I got to go 12 miles now before I can exit.
Yeah, I would never call my XO a moron. So
yeah, okay, I apprate calling me XO.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
I can still call you XO, right?
Yeah, you can still call me XO.
Is he your next guest?
Yeah, maybe we'll get him on, talk about pancakes.
That'd be electric.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Incredible.
Okay, let's just get a couple hot takes from you, and then we want to talk taxes with you. NHL playoffs. I know the Devils aren't in there. No, you hate the Rangers.
I do.
Hot take. Who's winning the cup?
I like the Panthers right now.
Okay, the Rats.
Yep, and I know you don't love that.
Last year was tough. That was brutal. But I mean, I'm just curious who you think's going to win.
Yeah, I think the Panthers are built pretty good. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if you'd see the Vegas Knights squeak out through the rest of this, the rest of their series with the Stars, because it's the year of the back-to-backs. The Chiefs go back-to-back.
Yeah.
What was I talking about with my roommate yesterday? The Chiefs went back-to-back. Who else went back-to-back?
Yeah, the Premier League. I know you're a big soccer guy. They went back-to-back.
Man City did go back-to-back, yeah.
Yeah.
The Chiefs? Someone else went back-to-back, and now I'm losing my mind. But
yeah,
that wasn't MLB.
Wasn't MLB. Wasn't NBA. That's okay. It was a good line, though.
Someone
it's
did.
the year of the back-to-back, so I think the Golden Knights. Okay, so out of the East, you're saying Panthers. Out of the West, you're saying the Golden Knights.
Yeah, I just don't want the Rangers. Honestly, the Bees can go, and I'd be fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Got it. Basketball. You watch NBA at all?
Yeah, I got the Knicks on right now. They were on. I don't know if that game's over.
The Bruins game's in overtime.
They won.
Knicks won. Yeah. All right. So NBA.
No, correction. Sorry. Sixers won OT.
Oh, come on.
My man. Trust the process.
The NBA, I like the Knickerbockers in the East because I'm a Knicks fan, and in the West, the Nuggets.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets. I think the Joker's the best player in basketball right now.
Yeah,
I think the Nuggets are the team to beat. If KP for the Celtics is actually hurt with his calf, I think that they're going to have a hard time. But if he's not that bad, I think they have a shot. I think Nuggets Celtics.
Yeah, I think the Knicks can give the Celtics a run. That's why I'm
okay. And then last topic before we get you to talk a little bit about those Jersey tax laws. What's up with your training these days? So you've been kind of on and off the starting strength method, and then I don't know, maybe 3 months you hit me up and you were like, dude, I got to get going again.
That's right.
How did that go? Where are you at now?
Yeah. So like September, October, I was like, I need to, whatever I was doing, and I don't even know what I would call it. It was just like a random combination of things in the gym. Whatever I was doing wasn't working. Your buddy Paul Horn, I saw he was dropping Radically Simple Strength. I bought it, read it, liked what he was putting forward. Starting strength methodology with kind of his programming in that simple way. It seemed like it fit for what I was looking for at that time in my life. So I started doing that.
To include like the meal plan that he puts in there?
Yeah. So I was pretty, I think I was probably like 85% committed, like consistent to the meal plan,
Sure.
like, which is kind of what I think he's looking for.
That's his point is like, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I was doing the big bowl and things like that. Putting on numbers are going back up. I was being pretty methodical. And what I'll tell you, the couple of things that I noticed over the years from stopping, I really stopped lifting starting strength in like 2017, like seriously as I was, like obviously when we were all together,
sure.
I was doing it pretty seriously. And then I stopped thinking, I don't know, I was being dumb. Like, I'll just use the lifts as like part of my lift and do other things because I got a little bored or whatever.
Right.
But I had bad shoulders. You might remember I had bad impingements when I was benching back in Camp Pendleton, and the pull-ups from the Marine Corps. My shoulders got bad, so I know you had a shoulder injury. We talked a little bit about that. I started incorporating like some of the stretches, and as I was putting the bar back in that position, and I always had tight shoulders in that position, but stretching and things like that. Long story short, like my shoulder pain, I wouldn't say entirely went away, but it dissipated a lot by just hanging from the bar and then getting under the bar while stretching it out, and getting back into the lifts. And I felt phenomenal. Now, I got injured snowboarding in February, so for about 4 months, I was doing really well. I was in there, every other day, 3 or 4 times a week. 5 pounds, 5 pounds, 5 pounds, go.
5, baby.
Getting my fives, getting my numbers back up. I got my deadlift and squat back over 300 pounds. My bench, which was always weak, was getting back in the 200, 225 range. And my press, I was plateauing at like 125, and I bought the, pound and a quarter weights. From the Strength Co. That's a plug. That's right. Beautiful weights, by the way. Beautiful weight belt. If you didn't know, they have a beautiful weight belt. And they have beautiful straps, leather straps, the best straps.
You can even buy Radically Simple Strength on the site.
Right.
You can go in there and get everything you need.
If you need Radically Simple Strength by Paul Horn, you can go to the Strength Co.'s website and get it right there.
That's right. I'm sensing a good ad read coming, aren't you?
It's gonna be good.
We'll see.
So you still lifting?
So long story short, I got hurt, started this new job, and I've been lifting, but very inconsistent. I haven't been able to find the tempo I need. The job's been pretty busy. I'm down here in Virginia for an on-site tomorrow. I've been working like 10, 12-hour days, so I just haven't really found that consistency, but I'll get it on the weekend when I can to at least get like a day, and one or other day in the week. So I'm trying to keep with it, but my numbers have taken, I got hurt, so my numbers took a hit from that. But it's one of those things I'm like super glad I reached out and said, hey, what do you think? I'm super glad I found Radically Simple Strength. I don't ever, I have a different mindset about it now. And like, I know it's a lifelong process. And just because I'm in a few months where I'm not consistent doesn't mean that like I can't find the time and then build back that consistency again. Cause it's being strong is a lifelong process. And if you put timelines on it, like you want to hit gold, like that's great. But if you put timeline on it, like life gets in the way unless you're a professional lifter, like you do it, grant like it's part of your life because it's part of your job and your business. But like life gets in the way. Like don't let that stop you from eventually getting back into it. Like my lifting shoes sit right next to my belt, and I look at it every day. And I'm like, on Saturday, I'm like, yeah, let's throw it on and get in there. It sucked.
But you do something.
But I did something.
Yeah.
And I moved weight up and down. So
yeah. I did a consult with a guy today. I'll make this brief. And he was basically, I'm getting stuck. What do I do now? I want to lose some weight. I've gained, 15 pounds doing this thing. And I'm watching his videos as we're sitting there on Zoom. And I'm like, dude, you're deadlifting 365 for 5. You're squatting 320 for 5 to depth. Like you're benching in the 200s. Like these lifts are great. Like, and he's like, yeah, but I get this, like, I really want deadlift or squat 405 for 5. And I'm like, okay, great. Like you should have that goal, but stop missing sessions over it and just go in and do, like, if you can squat over 300 pounds for 3 sets of 5, you're like in the 99th percentile. Like just keep lifting. And he's like, well, when do I start focusing on weight loss, fat loss? I'm like, now, like right now. You're 40 and it's only gonna get harder to lose weight. Get your weight down, figure out how to stay at a weight that's healthy. And then, your progress will be slower. But anyway, get back into it. All right.
I stopped drinking for Lent and lost 10 pounds.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. You can drive.
He can drive.
He can drive.
Love that.
Love it. So do we need to give you some nuggets of information about our sponsors, BW Tax, or did you do some research and you're ready to rock?
I have a couple different ad reads I could go off of.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
the best one needs a co-host, but I didn't have time to send you the script. So I'm not going to go with that one.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, okay. So you're going to do a previous one or are you going to go off the cuff?
No, these are my
Oh, these are your
he's,
takes. Okay.
he's prepped.
prepared.
He's prepped,
Yeah,
but he had one that required like a
they required
co-host.
Gottlich. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Got it. Okay, so
Yeah, actually, I was gonna make. How'd you know I was gonna make Trey do it with me? Just because I knew he'd love
Just
it. The
feels
most.
like it.
yeah, okay,
That's right.
yeah, he would have been good with that. Well, then, I mean, just turn on that North Jersey accent and
Central.
Let her re-up.
North Central, however you want to do it. You know, Uncle Giuseppe's voice works too.
Oh, do you want me to do like the Italian?
I mean, I just want you to live. There's 6 buttons here. We've had the ad read about 6 times, and only 3 of the buttons are here. And we want you to live on the button wall of fame. And we want you to be high up on it. So however you think it is, but just tell the listeners of the OK Podcast about our good friends over at BW Tax that can help you no matter where you are.
Hey there, fellow taxpayers. Are you feeling like you're swimming in a sea of tax forms? Well, grab onto the life raft that is BW Tax Advisory Group. They'll navigate you through the treacherous waters of tax season with the finesse of a seasoned sailor. Say goodbye to tax season stress and hello to smooth sailing. Visit bwtaxllc.com to schedule your consultation today.
Slow clap. You got another one?
Yeah, you want another one?
Italian.
Fire away.
Hit it again.
Give me
Fire
the Italian
away.
one.
You want the Italian?
I want the Italian.
All right. Hey there, listeners. Feeling lost in the maze of tax season? Let BW Tax Advisory Group be your guide. They specialize in guiding individuals and small businesses through the complex world of tax and accounting, using proactive financial planning and innovation. Say goodbye to tax season stress. Visit bwtaxllc.com to schedule your consultation today, or else.
Or else, you're gonna get whacked. That was good. That was excellent.
I like that one better.
Yeah,
That was good.
well, we'll put some music to it, clean up the audio, and I think you got a spot on the board.
Yeah, I think you made it.
100%.
you made it.
100%.
Yeah, you can call me. I can do it again if you need me to. I got a couple of on there. No big deal.
Wow. Dude, he's got 10 ad reads.
Oh, man.
Must be a
I'll
marketing
do
guy.
ad reads. I'll do ad reads for free.
Yeah, there you go. Well, if you can find us a sponsor, the list is so long, and it's a small opening for us allowing people to give us their money to take it. But with a word of advice from you, and if someone comes in and they're a Jersey company and they want 500 listeners a week to hear about their product, we're going to ask them, is it a Taylor ham or is it a pork roll?
That's right.
And if they answer that wrong, we're not taking their money. We got rules. Yeah, we got standards around here.
That's right.
Andy Herbert, thanks for coming on the show. Any place that, like, we saw that nice Zoom LinkedIn photo you had with the bricks.
That's
on there.
old, actually.
Yeah. Do you want people to come find you or nah?
Don't find my Twitter.
Okay.
That's another conversation for offline.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone's interested in like looking post-military transition career advice, like I did the business school route, and I do service to school mentoring with people. So if anyone wants to find me on LinkedIn, it's just Andrew Herbert. I think it's linkedin.com/aherbert. On the Instagram, Andy Herbert 1, whatever.
Yeah. If you like food and you enjoyed the food portion talk of this episode, highly recommend giving Andy Herbert 1 a follow. It's just constant pizza, ciabatta, all kinds of pasta. It's
Ramen, you name it.
Ramen. Yeah. That's my favorite spot. So, thanks for coming on, dude.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good to see you, XO. Jeff.
Oh.
Hey, good to see
One
you.
more. You got to give us an okay.
Okay.
Pretty good.
There he is.
I'm a little upset I got no cat in this episode either. I see all the doors are closed.
Yeah, they were.
I'm not a cat guy, but I respect that you are because you own it.
Yeah, thanks. Sometimes
But Devin was a cat guy first. So when you get Dev the Don on here, you got to make sure everyone knows that
All right,
Deville the
cats.
Skrill was the first cat guy.
All right, dude. Thanks
Bye,
for
gentlemen.
coming. See you
Semper
later.
Nice to meet you.
Fi Dallas, retreat hell.
All right, we just got here.
Super Fi.
Sure.
All right, so we've been going a while. Actually, we talk sports, we talk food, talk a little lifting with Herbert. I don't think we'll be able to get through all those questions, but quick plug: our Slack channel. Go to thestrength.co, click media. You'll see all our YouTube videos. You'll see links to the OK podcast. Scroll down to the bottom, click coaching, and you can join our Slack channel. It's $29 a month. Come on. There's 5 starting strength coaches that moderate it. Everyone on the OK podcast is on there. And it's a lifting community. It's over 200 lifters. You post your form checks, post nutrition questions. Hey, what's the best knee sleeves? Where should I buy my belt? If you're asking about weights, it's just going to direct you to thestrength.co. Sorry, we're a little biased.
Hey.
But you can get on there and do stuff. And one thing that we started this week is, hey, you got lifting questions, post them here in the thread. We'll read them off on the podcast and we will answer your questions. So we posted that this afternoon about, I don't know, maybe 3 hours before we started recording tonight, and got, I don't know, a dozen questions or so. We're not going to go for them all, but I think we got to go for the guy that posted the very first one, because I think that started the chain reaction of them coming. And in future episodes, we'll block out a good chunk of time to read your questions and answer them. So, Jeff, why don't we hit that first one?
Okay. Yeah. The first question up is from Daniel. Daniel hails out of Raleigh, North Carolina, so just up the road there from Grant.
That's right.
And the question that he wanted to put in there, he's curious about. So Grant, as a Marine and a strength coach, what strength benchmarks would you like to see? And there's a little bit of a jargon issue here. What would you like to see a soldier attain before MARSOC selection? I think he meant Marine before MARSOC selection. I'll bite my tongue, snap it back. Just, it's just ignorance. It's okay. It's okay.
So strength metrics before a Marine attempts MARSOC selection, right?
Can you clear up what MARSOC selection is?
Yeah, I'm going to clear up all that. I just want to make sure I had the question down. That's the question, right?
That's the question.
And I think, Jeff, you'll have some good stuff to weigh on this. So first of all, for the civilians out there that listen to this,
that's me.
Like PJ, one way, it's like walking into that Jersey store and ordering your Taylor ham correctly. Branches, have identities. And so a Marine is a Marine. A soldier is a member of the United States Army. A sailor, the United States Navy. What's a Coast Guardman? A Coast Guardman.
Coast Guardman? A Coastie? I don't know. I guess maybe could also be a sailor.
Nah, but they jump out of helicopters and stuff.
Anyway,
they don't really matter. Navy, Marine, and Army is what matters. And Air Force, when she's an airman.
And Space Force.
Guardians. Yeah. But Marines basically don't like being called soldiers because they're not a part of the Army. So David was his name, right?
Daniel,
we forgive you. Now you know, though, so now you don't do it wrong. MARSOC is Marine and Reconnaissance Special Operations Command, right? Yep. And it is, so in the Army, you have your Green Berets. What's the Navy have? The SEALs.
SEALs.
Could you forget those guys?
Yeah. What?
Coast Guard has the parajumpers or paratroopers.
Air Force.
Air Force is paratroopers. So it all falls under Joint Special Operations Command, and basically everything that's ever been a movie's been made about, or something that people think are cool, or that you use as a recruiting tool. It's that. And the people that get all the money, no matter if there's a continuing resolution or not, it's JSOC. It's Joint Special Operations Command. And so the Marine Corps always had reconnaissance. And reconnaissance, or recon, swam underwater, went in, did raids, killed people, cool stuff, but technically wasn't a part of Special Operations Command. And when DOD was like, hey, Marine Corps, make a Special Operations Command, they were like, we don't need to. We have recon and we're Marines. We're amphibious. Every Marine's a rifleman. And and they said, nope, you will. And this is like 03-ish, somewhere
early
around there.
2000s.
Because there was the 1st Battalion, which was technically a recon battalion that got funded. Anyway.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing, and I don't know if Daniel knows this, but the difference between MARSOC and all the different special operation commands and the other services is that in MARSOC, you have to already be a Marine. So Navy SEALs, they use it as a recruiting tool. Not saying it's a bad thing, but like, hey, I want to be a Navy SEAL. I'm Jordy. I want to be a Navy SEAL. And you go in and you go into buds and all that stuff and you fail out. And what do you end up doing? You end up painting ships. You end up doing something else. And MARSOC says, hey, you are already a Marine. and now you can apply to become special operations in MARSOC. And so they look at your track record, how you've been running your PFTs, you know, if you're an NCO, what your JPES scores are, you know, if you're an officer, what your fit reps look like. They look at all that stuff and they say, yep, you're allowed to now try out for something called assessment and selection. And assessment and selection is, what is it, 30 days, Jeff?
I don't know exactly what the Marine Corps is, but I know like Army's is like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, something like that. And so you get to go to that ANS, they call it in the MARSOC world, and it's physical requirements. So that's where this question would come into. And I have had quite a few Marine clients over the years that have said, hey, you know, I'm a first lieutenant. I'm trying to go to MARSOC. How can I get strong for assessment and selection, or how do I get strong for special forces, if we were to broadly term this stuff, or how strong should I be, or what should I focus on? And so basically, kind of like everything else, I always say the answer to this question is, well, first, you hopefully have already actually gotten strong, and not just so that you can turn that strength into endurance that you're going to need, but so that you've gotten strong so that you can handle the rigors of the course and not get injured. A lot of guys, I'm sure Jeff knows, I know, good guys, they go in, they're doing great, they're performing well, they turn an ankle, they tear an ACL. They, you know, you heard Herbert, you know, hurt his shoulder in the Marine Corps. You know, they do something and then they don't get to make it through selection. If you get strong, everything's more durable, your ligaments, your tendons, and you're stronger, and you're more resilient against injury. So hopefully you've done that novice linear progression and gotten strong. And if you have, then what I would do is say, hey, strength is no longer the number one goal, or getting stronger, I should say, is no longer the number one goal. I now want to turn this strength into endurance that is usable. And so for a lot of guys that are going to ANS, I want them to be able to do pull-ups and chin-ups and max that out, no problem. So whenever they have to do the Marine Corps PFT, that's not an issue. And so I'll usually have like 2 days in there where they're doing pull-ups or chin-ups. One of them's weighted and one of them's for max reps. They need to get in the pool a couple times a week because you're going to have to swim. And if you don't usually swim and all of a sudden you have to swim, you can be in the best shape of your life, but you're not used to the water, and that's going to present a problem. And it doesn't need to be crazy. The swimming standards for MARSOC and getting through ANS, I should say, I don't know the further part, but it's not crazy, but you need to be able to jump off the 20-footer, land in a pool, and swim 800 meters in camis, you know, which it makes a big difference, you know, so you need to have some swimming endurance. And then any of those style things, you want to just have basic endurance or rucking endurance. So if you're a Marine and you want to go ANS and you're training, you know, hey, go put on your pack and go ruck, you know, mountains if you want. The only thing I don't like about that is it does open you up for some injury in your training to go to the thing that allows you to be accepted to this thing. So I really like heavy sled pulls. You get a sled, put a thing around your waist, you're in tennis shoes, you're in your neighborhood, and you're pulling it around a cul-de-sac looking like an idiot, but it's low impact, and you're getting the stressors that you would get from a heavy ruck without the injury of, or without the risk of, oh, I stepped off a rock weird and twisted my ankle or that sort of thing. Now, none of that actually answered this question. Strength benchmarks. You know, I think you need to be squatting and deadlifting in the 300s. I don't think you need to have a 500-pound deadlift. I don't think you need to have a 400-pound squat. I think you need to have your squat and your deadlift in the 300s. And I think you need to be able to, you know, bench a good bit above body weight, you know, for a set of 5. If you can press your body weight, you know, that's great, but you need to have a decent press. But I don't think you need to focus on it. Like, it's not like, if I deadlift 500 pounds, I will be ready for MARSOC. It's no, I need to be strong so I'm durable, and then take that strength and do these other things to turn it into endurance. So the program I usually have people do is on their squat day, I'll say, hey, you're going to squat a set of 8 reps, but I'll write on there 5 to 8 reps. And week 1, I want them to pick a weight that they know they can get 8 reps for. And then they're going to do a back off set for 15 to 20 reps. And so let's say a guy's built up his squat to 350 for 3 sets of 5. He might on week 1 do 335 for a set of 8, and then maybe take 100 pounds off, somewhere like that, maybe even a little more, and do 20 reps. So maybe he does 330 for set 8, and then he does 200 pounds for 20 reps. And that's his start. The following week, when he gets back to squats, he's going to take the 330, make it 335. He's going to take the 200, make it 205. But for both of those sets, I'm going to say 5 to 8 on the squat on the top set, and then 15 to 20 on the back off set. And what I'm going to tell him is you're going to run this for 12 weeks, and you're only going to stop and reset if that top set falls below 5, and if that back off set falls below 15. And you're just going to LP that thing. And so what it's going to do is it's going to take, hey, I got this 350 pound squat, but when I go to assessment and selection, there's no, hey, go squat 350 pounds. It's grab this heavy log, grab this heavy piece of gear, drag this person up the hill. So I want to be able to take my strength and turn it into some type of endurance, but not long endurance. I also need long endurance. That's why I'm dragging the sled around the yard. That's why I'm swimming in the pool. But in terms of, I need to be able to take my strength and use it for short duration burst of actions where I need to be above average. And I do a similar thing in the deadlift. I do 5 to 8 for the top set. I do 10 to 15 for that drop set, just because sets of 20 deadlifts, again, by the time you're deadlifting 20 times, you're just opening yourself up for loosening the low back and maybe hurting something. And then I just have them 5x5 bench, 5x5 press, 5x5 pull-ups and chins. And it's really only 2 lifting days that I set people up like that. And then it's, 2 to 3 conditioning days a week. So I don't think, Daniel, there's a specific, you must have this strength metric to be ready to go to MARSOC. It's, hey, you need to have gotten strong. I do think a squat and the deadlift for anybody, regardless of body weight, get it up in the 300s, and then have a good conditioning base for, long, slow distance type of stuff. And then also have the capacity to work really hard with loads for, 60 seconds or something like that. I don't know. Jeff, what do you think? You've been around a bunch of Marines have done this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think only thing I'd kind of like sprinkle into that is less. Yeah, like I don't know if there is like really like a benchmark that needs to be hit, because then that's not really a thing that's tested at ANS. And so you need to be able to I think like you said, be durable. So like lifting weights, because it's going to be a grind, right? It's going to be like day in, day out of kind of just like these thrash sessions, a lot of time on the feet. So I think that's like another big thing of like getting time on the feet. Doesn't have to be like crazy hard, long distance runs, but like it can be easier, slow distance runs, like walking with a sled, introducing some ruck stuff, but like you don't need to be a guy that's like, I'm going to throw 100 pounds in this rucksack and go for a 10-mile run. Like you're just going to grind yourself into dust, and then you're going to show up for the selection event and you're just going to be smoked before you've even started. So it's kind of, I think like you said, lifts in like the 300s for deadlift and squat. I mean, probably want to have some sort of like pressing capability, because there might be some pressing logs overhead, sandbags overhead, but again, it's like there's not gonna be like a 1 rep max like event or anything like that. So
yeah, and I would
muscular
say
endurance will be big.
Yeah, I would say that even like the shoulder health for like logs, it's not like, hey, I'm gonna get a log that I'm not strong enough to lift overhead, right? Because there's probably gonna be 6 dudes on that log. Yeah. And who knows how many. The thing is, you're going to do 300 reps though. Mm-hmm. So if you, or whatever it is. So if you don't have strong, durable shoulders, then they're going to wear down. So it's not, hey, one of the things is you're going to go swim 200 meters, come out of the water, and there's a log press competition. No, it's just going to be like, you're going to swim, you're going to come out of the water, you're going to grab a log, and you're going to run around the beach with it and press it overhead, and your shoulders are going to get a lot of work. How do you make sure that your shoulders can withstand a lot of work? Well, they're strong and healthy, and they've also been exposed to some endurance events. That's kind of the idea. And that's the same idea with the squat and the deadlift. And so, I don't think you're a Marine, Daniel, so you're not eligible for ANS right now. And you may have just been asking it in general terms. But it's if someone is, and they're thinking about it and they're like, oh, my squat's only at 285, like that's fine. Right. I just mean you need to have a good base of strength. In order to have muscular endurance, you need a basis of strength, some type of foundation. So yeah, good question. Good opener. Good opener.
Yeah, good stuff.
Can I add one tagline on there?
Yeah.
Not just as a question. Are there body comp recommendations? Like, would you recommend a certain body composition, or like, hey, it's better to be lighter, or it's better to be heavier, or anything like that?
think
You go first.
it's kind of one of those like really variable things. Cause if like you've ever like, so, you know, I've like worked with SEALs, Green Berets and stuff, from my time at Anglico. And it was like, oh, there's like you run into every body type. I mean, you probably don't want to be the super crazy jacked out of your mind muscle dude. Cause then what you're going to run into is you're going to be on a 12-mile ruck and like your muscles are just going to be, and you know, you have giant arms, your biceps are going to need all this blood that flows through them, but those muscles aren't helping you at all, but they're going to take up some of like your aerobic capacity because, you know, blood has to flow through them. So those muscles don't like wither away and die at some point. But you probably don't also want to be like the stick figure that runs a 14-minute 3-mile and then they strap a rucksack to you and it just absolutely buries you. And all of a sudden you can't keep up with anybody. So like you kind of want to be that like balanced in between guy probably. But I mean, you see all body shapes and sizes, guys that are 5'4" make it through. And then guys that are like 6'7" that make it through and are huge. So it's just really variable.
Yeah. I think so I don't think there are some freaks there, but I don't think they're necessarily like genetic freaks. I think they're just kind of like most of the people that are trying out for this thing and make it are messed up in the head. I don't mean in a bad way. That's exactly what I want fighting the enemy, but they're just like, I have seen little guys do events and I'm like, how is this even possible? But he's just like, I will do this. Right. And I've also seen big guys that, you know, it's time to go run 3 miles. And it's like, how do you run in 1830? Like you're, you know, whatever. So they're definitely like outliers. I would say you don't want to be going into that type of sustained, very rigorous physical event. You do not want to be under 13% body fat, right? Like you don't want to be super thin because you're going to lose weight. You're going to lose a good bit of weight. And then you also, you know, you probably want to be under 20. I mean, in the Marine Corps, you definitely want to be under 20 because you don't want to. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to height weight you. If you're out of their composition, they're going to say, okay, how big's your neck? How big's your waist? Oh, you're under 18%. You're good. Oh, you're 19%. You're kicked out right away.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you have to be, you want to be within regulations. But from a strength coach perspective, I'd be like, hey, once you start to get over 20%, you're not going to have as good a performances as you could have if your body fat was lower. And at the same time, once you get under 10%, you know, you're not going to have the same ability. I'm not saying you can't pass and can't make it, but you're not going to be as useful to go into this type of thing if you were, you know, 12, 14, 15%. I mean, that's probably what the composition you want.
No, that was a great.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think you got to be thin. I don't think you got to be little or big or whatever. I mean, plenty of, Marines, berets, all these people have made these things of various sizes, but yeah. So I'm excited about the Slack questions. I think that'll be good. And ask us more stuff. Lifting questions are great, but if you join in, feel free to ask us other things that you'd like to hear about, life things, our takes on history, sports. We had a good question there from Jeff out of Atlanta, asking about the top 3 Southern Revolutionary heroes. Had to think about that. What came to mind right away without any
some South
research,
Carolina boys.
Yeah, Francis Marion and then Patrick Henry of Virginia were like the first 2. I was like, those 2. And that was like the third. I'd have to think about that. But we're not answering that question this week, Jeff. So if you made it this far into the podcast, good on you to know that we're at least going to talk about it. All right. I think we need one more ad read and then we'll shut this thing down. Let's go back to Florida.
The thing that I've always liked about bwtexllc.com is that they are a smaller company and smaller companies care more. In general, there's not a hierarchy of people that are telling you, make more money from our clients. They want you to make money. That's why you use them, because when you use them, they're gonna give you the tools to get the most money back from the government that generally takes all of our stuff. But it's their mission. It's their job to get as much money back from the government and put it into the pockets of hardworking Americans.
Dadgum.
We got Trey's voice on here.
Love
Good.
that.
Dadgum.
Dadgum.
Well, Jeff, I know you're usually the organizer of thoughts and what's next and the next slide. We didn't say next slide. I don't feel like we said okay enough. Okay.
Okay.
And it's Trey's job to shut us down. But yeah, I know you're nervous. Can you tell the people where to go, where to find us, and tell them what to do? You know, maybe reviews would be great. We only have one.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, take it away.
All right. Well, first, I want to thank everyone for listening to the Okay podcast, right? If you want to follow us on social media, YouTube, head on over to theokpodcast.com. You can find all the links there for our social media, YouTube. Get on the YouTube, like, subscribe, throw some comments in there. Give us a review through Spotify or Apple. Apple Podcasts is what they call it on there.
That's what the kids are calling it these days.
So, yeah, we really appreciate the listeners from the OK Podcast, powered by The Strength Co.
Episode 018 out.